friends, Tiffany here. Welcome to my quilting life. So today's the day one, video one of the Skulliver sew along. And if you don't know what the Skulliver is, check out Legit Kits right here in the top corner. There should be a link popping up for Legit Kits. They have all sorts of different kits that you can choose to create your own really awesome, oh my gosh, I can't even talk, awesome artistic related quilt. So it's like a picture blown up and you turn it into a quilt, which involves paper piecing with no Y seams. That's even better, right? So all of their kits are pretty much beginner friendly. So I chose to do Skulliver right here. This is Skulliver. And you can choose to do whatever one you want. The method of what we will be doing here is pretty much the same. Just know that this video is focused on Skulliver, the color numbers in Skulliver, and the paper numbers that we're doing from Skulliver's cutouts and so on and so forth. So just know that the technique is going to be the same, but everything that we do here is pretty much based on following along with Skulliver. Also, another disclaimer. I am not a paper piecing know-it-all. As I said in my original beginning video to this, the introduction that we were going to be doing this so long, I am still quite a beginner at paper piecing. I don't know everything about paper piecing. I've done it more than handful, but under 2 handfuls full of times. So I definitely am not an expert. So if I say or do anything that's totally like, hey, I'm a paper piecer, this is not what you do. Just know that I'm still in that beginner thing. But these patterns right here from Legit Kits are beginner friendly. You should be able to do this even as a beginner. If you have never made a quilt before, you should be able to follow these directions right here to make Skulliver, and it should go together pretty easily. So as I do things a little bit differently than most YouTubers out there teaching how to make all these different paper piecing patterns and kits from all sorts of different companies, just know the way I do things is going to be different than somebody else does things. So if you find yourself lost at all or you need some help, don't forget to comment down in the comment section below, and I'll be as best as I can to help you. But again, there's that I'm a beginner still kind of thing. I never really advanced myself any further in paper piecing because I like to piece regularly and I like to play with scraps a lot, and I like to design my own patterns. So this, it's not out of my comfort zone, but it's definitely something that I don't normally do. And I don't know where I was going with that, but let's move on. So as I do things differently, I will explain to you the process start to finish, and we're going to go through this book because I put mine in a book, and I'll tell you why in a second. We're going to go through this all together from page 1 to however many pages there are. I forgot to look, but however many pages there are, we're going to go from 1 all the way down. So this sew along will last as long as it takes to make this. So since this is video 1, let's get started on the first thing we need to do. So the Skulliver kit comes in a different package. I, as you can see, have put it into a 3-ring binder. You also get all of your fabric needed with this kit. So I'm going to move this fabric out of the way for a moment and talk about why and what I did with this whole pattern. I put it in a 3-ring binder. They don't come with the holes cut out on the papers, but I just so happened to have a 3-ring punch because my kids, you know, they went to high school and elementary school, and they always needed their paper punched so that it can go in their folder. So I have had a 3-ring punch forever, and it just so happens to be in my quilt room because I figured I'd need it someday, and that someday was when I decided to 3-ring punch this. So I have decided, and don't mind this, this is one of my kids' used folders from high school. So I just said, hey, I need a binder, and this is the binder I'm using. So right off the bat, this was the cover page that you'll see when you order Skulliver. I just took it out and put it on the front so that I know. My little sticker is in here, and my magnet that they send is somewhere else. It's in here somewhere. But I have went ahead and put all of my pages in here in the order that they go. So all of my pages for Skulliver are in here. All of my color sheets are in here and everything. So the whole entire thing is in here all the way down to the cutting guides. So there's tons and tons of pages of the cutting guides and how things are going to go together. These are the how it goes together pages, by the way. I said cutting guides, but I meant to say the how they go together. So how each cut is pieced together. No Y seams. All straight seams. Anyways, and then it goes to the cutting guide, which tells you, you know, what color you're cutting on, but you don't really have to. That's just a guide. It's not to say you have to do that. But all these pages coming up right here are all the guide, and I'm just going to skip through them all because I figured it would be easier for me to have them all in here. It keeps going. Where did it go? And then in your pattern, you will also get a page that's the Foundation Paper Piece Kit User Guide. This is just a user guide of the things that are in your kit and your colors and thank you for purchasing and how it works and your color lists and cut lists and so on. It just is a guide to, you know, about putting this kit together. So we're just going to skip through that and then we're going to get to the pages that I did not 3-hole punch. And that is because these are the pattern pages. So every single one of these is a different kind of paper. This is for paper piecing. It is specifically a paper piecing paper. And you can see there are all sorts of shapes on here and pieces, and all the pages are numbered. And that is going to work to our advantage in this sew along. And why, might you ask? Because we are going to go by page numbers. I find that it's easier to just start from the top and work our way to the bottom. I have seen a couple other videos and a couple shorts that people were taking pages of bigger pieces and only doing those first and making piles of this, that, and everything else. We're just going to start from the top and work our way to the bottom. So once you know one piece, the next piece is just going to get easier and you'll know how to do every single one of them and it'll become easier. The third thing is the fabric, and that is actually what we're going to go on to next now. Let me just get this binder moved out of the way and we're going to pull over the fabric. As you can see right off the top, your fabric has a letter and number code. So all of the fabrics have a letter, which is the name of the color, as you can see, and the letter and number code for every single color of fabric. Now, I want to keep these codes with these pieces of fabric, but I also want to press all of this fabric in advance because I press everything. So our first step of this sew along is going to be to press everything. So the first thing I'm going to do is just get right to it for you guys, is I'm going to pull all of these out of the wrappers. Just going to toss that over onto the floor. I'm pulling everything out. I'm just going to stack all this fabric. Throw that on the floor. And then these must be all the smaller cuts because they look smaller. Oops, didn't mean to tap the tripod, but I am in a confined space for filming, if you guys didn't know. So here is all of our colors. My kit just so happens to have 106 different colors here. For reals, there is 106 different colors. So what we're going to be doing is, and I'm going to show you how I do this compared to other people, is these stickers. I'm just going to make sure that they're all at the top somewhere. So I want them to stay at the top because I'm going to be pressing these. I don't want the folds in it when I go to do things. So I'm going to be opening all these up and I'm going to make sure that the stickers are all at the top somewhere and out of my way. And I'll start cutting from the bottom up when we go to do that part. But for now, see, so this one is not at the top. I want to take this sticker off. And I'm actually going to put it up here on this selvage end. I want my stickers at the top, somewhere in the corner. And what we're going to do is we're going to, after I do all that, if the sticker feels like it's coming off at all, I will pin it on with some little micro pins that I have. It's like this one is not at the top, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove it and put it right here at the top. And like I said, if it comes off at any point in time, I will definitely pin them on here. So this is going to be the first step, is organizing the fabric and pressing it. So organizing, I mean by moving the stickers. And when I'm talking about pins, let me show you. All right. And in talking about the pins, I have these guys right here. These are little, and you can see they stick very well to you. They are so tiny. Will it even focus? I could stick it in my finger and show you. There you go. These are really, really dinky pins, and they're usually used for crafts. So if I feel that this is going to come off at any point, I will just pin that right there. And these little pins are small enough to not get in the way. And if it feels like it's coming off during the ironing or at any point, I'll just take one of these pins and put it in. So that way my color stays on my fabric, and I would like it to be all in the same corner, but that's fine if it's not. So as you can see, I'm putting mine all in the top right corner up at the selvage side, which is hopefully how it's going to end up on every single piece. So I'm just going to do this, and then I'm going to take everything over to the iron and get to making all this flat. So let's go to the iron, and I'll just put you in time lapse while I do that. Okay, time for the messy room view. I needed you guys up high so that you can see what I have done here. So here's all the fat quarters, and they are all marked at the top right so that it is easy for me to get to. Then we have, and it's all nice and pressed, this is as flat as I can get it all. Then we have these little small scrap pieces. So these are probably maybe 1 or 2 pieces per cut. And then I have there's a whole lot of these. These are the 1/16 yard ones. So you can see again, it's all in the top right corner. That's going to make it easy for me to flip through. And then last but not least, actually 2 before the last, we have these big 13.5-inch by full width of fabric. And then we have this stack, which is very large as well, because like I said, there's 106 different colors here, guys. Here are the fat 1/8 yards, which is pretty much a fat quarter cut in half in its width. So these are the fat 1/8. Again, all of my stickers are on the right top corner, easy for me to flip through. And this is how I'm going to do it. Now, you didn't have to press it all, and you didn't have to put all your tags in the top right. I did that because I would like to find things easier. And like I said, other people are going to do theirs totally different than I'm going to do mine. But I'm making this easy on myself. And I'm going to stack all of these to where all of my tags are in that top corner, just like that. Oops, let's put these 2 right here, like this. And then all of these up here. And that way, every single color I need, except for the black that's over on my ironing board, is where I need to find it. So let's go back to the regular view. So what we're going to do is like a filing system. This is like well, for me it is. I don't know how other people do it, but I'm going to take out the first papers that we need for today's video. And for today's video, to start off simple, if you are a beginner at paper piecing, we're just going to take off 6 sheets. So we're going to take off page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So page 1 through 6, we're going to pull those out. And then I'm just going to close my book for now because I only need page 1 through 6. All right. So right here off the top, page 1, A1 is the piece, is the letter P. So as you can see on the papers, they all say the letter that they are. So here, again, P, V, and GE on page 2, P, CH, and GE on page 3, GE, CH, and QI on page 4. Page 5 is BR, MZ, BR, PX, and CH. And page 6 is BR, SH, Z, SG, PX, and EL. So this is how this is going to work. We're going to come over here. First page, A1, is the letter P. So the reason why I did this system right here is because all I need to do is find the letter P. So I could tell you right now, P is not in this pile. P is the black. So I'm just going to put my black right here. That's my P. So I'm just going to stick this page right there because I already know that that's the color. So we're going to work with the next page, page 2. So I'm going to take a P, which is already right here, it's black, and then we're going to look for V. So we're going to look for the color V, and you can reference also inside your book for V, or you can do like I did, like this, and go, oh, hey, where is V? And if I go to the book, I can actually just say V is whatever color, and then look for that colored paper. The colored fabric. So I don't see a plain V yet on this page. Don't see a plain V yet on this page. No V. Let's see, no V, no V, no V on this page. I'm looking. All right, I didn't see no V on any of that. V is cornflower, so it's under my fat 16ths. Okay, so my fat 16ths are these right here. There's V. Finally found it. It was a fat 16th. All right, next color on this page 2 is GE. So I'm just gonna actually just go here because it'd be easier to know what GE is. And these are in alphabetical order, which makes it easy. So GE is grape mist. It's under the fat 8th. So GE, and it's a blue color. Where did I just see that? Grape mist. It's like a purplish color. Orchid, SG, fat 8. That's what these are. G and E. So there are all the colors for number 2. Now, page 3. See, what we're doing is pulling out all the colors we need. So P again is black. So we need CH, V, which I already have V out. V is right here. GE, I already have out. So I just need CH. So we're going to go to CH is the orchid. And that is under, where did I just see that? In my fat 8s. And I'm pretty sure I saw that right about here somewhere. Right there, CH. So we're going to go ahead and pull CH out because that's the only one we need. It doesn't help that I have a fan on. Now, we have CH already out. GE is already out. So now we need QI. So that's going to be on my next page, Q, right here. I, lemon ice. QI is lemon ice. And that is under my 3/8 of a yard. That would be easy to find. That's this one. So there is that. And all the colors are already there. So there's that. Page 5, CH is already out. So we need PX. PX is a pinkish color in my fat 8s. PX. Those are not pink. Those are not pink. Those are not pink. Not pink. None of those are pink. PH. PX. PX. Okay. And we already have CH out right there. So we did PX. We're going to go up here to this one, which is EL. EL is Bellini, so that is also a pink color under the fat 16ths. So we're going to come over here, fat 16ths, EL Bellini right here. So that goes with that. Okay. The next one we're going to grab is BR. BR is butter. It's under my fat quarters. So BR right here. And my camera is now in the way. So here is my BR. Now MZ is maize. That is in my fat 8ths. So MZ is like a yellowish color in here. MZ. I'm going to assume it's this one right here. Yep. MZ. So there's MZ. And now BR. I think we already have BR out. QI, CH, GE, and V. So we don't have BR out. Or do we? BR. Yep, BR is out. MZ we got. BR goes here too. Okay, so that's that page. Next, EL is already out. So PX, I think we already have PX on here. PX is that pink color. So let's go back a couple. PX is already out. The next one is SH. I don't think we have SH out yet. SH is shell, and it's under my fat 16ths. So we're going to go right here to the fat 16ths and look for a light color called shell. It's very light. Bone shell. So here's SH. And now we need, let's see, BR. Do we already have BR out? BR. Oops, that was this page. BR is butter. Yeah, butter is already out. So we're going to make sure, yep. All right, so SG, do we have SG yet? SG is sea glass under my fat 8s. SG, and it's a bluish, a really, really light blue. SG. Maybe we already do have it out. GE. Nope, we do not. Nope, nope, nope. Oh, these are the 16ths. These are the 8s. What am I doing? SG. It's going to be that guy, right? Nope. It's really light. So this one, SG. All right, so there's SG. And then Z. Z is the last one, and that is regular white, and that's also in the fat 8s. So let's look for that white. That's Z right here. And that's everything we need for the first 6 blocks. All right, now that we have our first 6 blocks and all their colors cut, pulled out of the pile, now it's time to cut out their pieces and stick them with their matching block papers, okay? And we're not cutting the papers, we're cutting the pieces. I have totally forgot to mention that it'd be nice if you had add-a-quarter rulers for this whole entire thing. Like I totally spaced the items that you're gonna need for paper piecing. But anyway, so here's what we're gonna do. Since page 6 is already right here on the top, and so are some of its colors, Z is right here. So we're gonna cut out the piece for Z, and what we're gonna do is be cutting these out and then stacking them all up. So we're just gonna use my add-a-quarter ruler to kind of just make a little crease there and here to make an idea of the size of the block piece that I need to cut out. So just gonna come right here, and I want a 1/4 inch more, so there's probably gonna be a little bit of waste. And I'm totally trying to do this from an angle that does not work for me, guys, completely. All right, so I'm just gonna fold this back because I could see that line right there. Fold it on that line, just like this. And I just want to take my scissors and cut a piece like that. So now I know that that piece fully covers a 1/4 inch on both sides, and it's very sloppy, but they'll get better over time because I'm in a funky angle. Now we need SG, which is a nice little tiny piece as well. So we're just gonna turn it right here. SG is this little tiny corner. So I'm literally gonna come over a 1/4 inch and then come over a 1/4 inch this way and cut it out right there. Sorry if I'm hitting the camera. So we're gonna stick SG out of the way temporarily because it's gonna be needed again. or let's do SH because it's literally right here. SH, so I'm just gonna fold my paper kind of right here and right here and right. Totally gonna rough cut this off of here. Even though we know that's the page we're working on, that's page 6. And then fold right here, just temporarily so that I can see the shape and get the best cut, which there is a chart for. Right here is probably the best cut. So I'm just gonna come in right here and come on, go up this way. Just like that. And that's been cut out. So SH is cut out. Now we need BR. So we're just gonna pull our BR over here. I'm going to just move my pieces over to the sewing machine, honestly. We're going to take BR, and this just uses a corner right here. So we're just going to kind of line it up right here on the corner. And I'm just going to fold this paper out of the way and be like, here we go. Funky angle and all. There is my BR, that sewing machine. Fold that out of the way temporarily. PX is this pink right here. And this is a long skinny piece, so I'm just gonna say, oh, it folds there. And it folds right here. And that's my piece. So I'm just gonna come up right here, come across right here, and come down right there. So there's my piece for PX. Move that out of the way. And then EL, which is right here. And it is also a piece that I can get from right here in the corner, just like this. So I'm just gonna cut up like that, and then come down like that. So there's that piece. So all those pieces are right there and cut out and ready to go. So let's move on to sewing it before we go crazy. So we're going to start with piece 6. All right, so this is going to be awkward a little bit, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this card up right here and crease all of my lines like this. So it's like cardstock almost. Just creasing all of my lines. I'm lining it up to the black line, giving it a full crease. Right there. And then this one. And last but not least, this one. So I'm just lining it up and creasing it. And I'm going to be doing this with every single piece. So just know this is how I will be doing them all. So I just moved that out of the way. We're going to start with the first piece. That was BR. So that's the butter one. And it covers, you can see your black lines from the back. It covers where I need it to be. And number 2 is SH. So my SH is SH. Did I cut SH? Yes, I did. What is that little guy that's buried? Yep, SH. It's this one right here, which is my other big piece. And we're going to make sure which direction we cut that, which was this way. Hold on. We're making sure that it's going the way I cut it. And it is. So it goes like this on the back side. So this one's going to cover that. And this one is going to cover this right here. So when it's folded back, it should cover that whole section. Okay? So we're going to do that. Now you can throw a pin in it, which I guess we'll do for video's sake. Now that I know those pieces are where I want them, just like that, I'm going to throw a pin right here. Turn it upside down. My pin is nowhere near the line I need to stitch on. And I'm going to adjust this a little bit because it kind of shifted a little bit that way. There we go. We're going to stick the pin in here, again, away from my stitching line. And what we're going to do is we're going to sew on the line between 1 and 2, right here. And you're going to sew right off that 1/4 inch seam. We're also going to make sure that our machine is set to like a 1.5, 1.8, something like that. This is like magazine paper, so it actually tears quite easily. All right, so I'm just going to sew on that line. Now I never said I'm perfect at this, so obviously I can't sew a straight line. Okay, I'm going to break thread. I am going to remove my pin, and I'm going to make sure that this is covering it all the way by finger pressing it back, or you can use a seam roller. Okay, and it covers it mostly. See, it kind of shifted a little on me. That's fine. So now that I know it's good, we're just going to fold it all back, and we're going to cut away a 1/4 inch wherever my ruler went. We're just going to use our add a 1/4 ruler, which is down here, you can see. And I'm going to go ahead and cut away my 1/4 inch seam allowance. Just like that. Which is very hard to do in this position with the camera. All right. I need to find my larger ruler. Okay, so I cut away my 1/4 inch seam allowance. So now my piece is obviously pressed back. We're going to go to number 3, which is PX. I literally have all of my pieces right here. So PX is the brighter pink, which is going to go right here. Okay, so we're going to come over here. We're going to make sure that PX is laying in the proper position to cover where it needs to go. Right there. I have to see through the paper. That's my problem. Seeing my black line through the paper. There it is, right there. So there's my PX line. Just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and pin it in place right here. That's where I want it. Flip it over, and I'm going to stitch between 2 and 3. All right, I'm going to move my pin, and I'm going to make sure that it covers that whole thing, and it does. So now I'm going to finger press it, or you can roll it like this, or you can use another, which I don't know where all of my stuff is right now. There it is. Or you can use this one like that. Now that I know it's the size I needed and I sewed on the correct line, I'm just going to go ahead and cut away my 1/4 inch seam, which I'm doing away from the camera because I keep bumping it. So I'm using my add a 1/4. Just like that. So there's my seam. Now I'm going to flip it back over, and I need EL. EL is my little color right here, this pink. EL, gonna go something like that. So we're just gonna stick it here somewhere. We're gonna line it up right here somewhere and make sure that it covers where it's trying to cover, which it does right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick a pin in it, turn it upside down, and I'm gonna sew from here to there on that line. There that is. fold it back. It's completely covered where it needs to cover. Just going to finger press it or roll it. And that's where it needs to be. Now I'm just going to go ahead and fold this back, fold everything back, and cut away my 1/4 inch seam allowance. Fold my piece back where it goes. Make sure it's nicely pressed. Now I need piece 5, which is my Z. My Z is the white. And it literally needs to go right here. So we're just going to stick it on here, just like this. We're going to put a pin in it. And we're going to stitch on line 5. And that's not going to work because somehow, some way, I didn't line it up right. And here's my first problem. So this piece right here, which was my SH, seems to be shy right here by a 1/4 inch. So what I'm going to do is pull my SH, and I only need, it's just going to have 1 extra seam in it. I'm literally going to cut a little bit off of here. Where's my scissors? I'm making this harder than it really is, but I'm in a position that's hard to film. I'm just going to cut this off of here. I'm going to sew this onto here real quick. And my paper is going to be messed up, but we're just going to make this work. Actually, I can peel this away real quick. Here we go. I'm going to have an extra seam on here, but this is my fault because I wasn't paying attention. I'm going to go ahead and make that a 1/4 inch seam real quick. Okay. It's pulled away. Whatever. Just like that. And don't worry, this isn't my seam allowance here, so that actually won't be there. It's going to get cut away right now when we do number 5, because it's going to literally go right on top of that I just sewed. It's literally going to land in that seam. I'm just going to line it up. I can't see my seam through the paper, so I'm going to hold it up to the light. And that's where it is. That's where it's going to fold back. Fully covering it. Needs to go right there. Right there. I cannot see this paper through here, you guys. I don't have really good lighting, and it's driving me insane because my eyeballs are killing me. All right. I'm going to put a pin in it. Let's come down this way. Let's fold it and make sure. Right there. I put the pin on the top, so I don't want anything to move. There we go. I'm already messing up. I told you, this is for beginners. You can do it. Don't get discouraged. I sure as the heck ain't. All right, I'm going to remove that pin. I'm going to make sure that it's covering where it needed to cover. And it is. Yay, this time I did have a 1/4 inch seam. And now I'm going to cut all that excess seam allowance away, which I really don't have because I just sewed a seam on top of a seam. So technically, I have to cut all that away. There we go. I'm in a very awkward angle here, my friends. So it's kind of hard. All right, let's press that back. So you can see I have an extra little piece. That's a boo-boo, and I'm sorry. Hopefully the rest won't have that problem. Last piece is the only one left up here. So I'm going to go ahead and lay it on here. This is SG. I'm going to hold it up to the light because this is the only way I can see what I'm doing here. Holding it up to the light, making sure that it covers my square, and it doesn't look like it. Hoping that I get the seam allowance in there. Right there. All right, that's where I want it. We're going to flip it over, and I'm going to sew on that line between 5 and 6. Pull the pin out, make sure that it's covering it all the way to the end. My 1/4" seam allowance is also in there all the way, and it is. Okay, so now that I've slightly messed it up, we're going to cut away that 1/4" seam real quick. Fold that out of the way, just like that. And the rest of all that is going to get cut off when we trim the block and press the block. So what I need to do is press this and then trim it to the size right here. But for now, we're just going to set this aside and move on to the next. I'm just going to put you right here. It's easier for me. All right, BR. Let's go back to BR right here. It's the butter one. We're going to do that same exact thing, and we're going to cut out the size we need for B and R right here. And this is probably why they have those sheets, but I'm going to lay it right here in this bottom corner. And this time, I'm not going to fold anything. I'm just going to I need that much. That completely covers it. See that? Okay, so BR. Now we need MZ. So here's MZ. And MZ is a pretty big piece. So we're just going to come right here and find the best area to cut it from. I'm going to go right here. So I'm going to lay it pretty far up because I don't want any mishaps like last time. I'm going to fold this out of the way. Just like that. MZ is now cut out. So BR, MZ. Oh, we need a BR again. So BR on this big triangle. Let's go this way with it. Right here. So I'm just going to fold this back about right there. Yeah, this is totally why they give you a chart. Find your area. I'm going to go right here, actually. This will be good, because then I have that whole bottom for another block. So I'm just going to rough cut. I'm going to fold it back this way. Just like this. And I'm going to cut. Just like that. So there's my third piece. PX is my next color. PX. I'm going to put all these back up here like this. PX right here. PX, we're going to cut out a piece that's this shape. Fold it back this way. PX has been cut out. Notice I've been screwing the cuts on PX because of the position. Then we need EL and CH. EL. Right here is just a tiny little corner, so I'm literally going to cut this little area out. And I need CH. ER for the CH. SG. Z. CH. Right here. So I'm just going to move those out of the way. And we're going to cut CH right here. So here is my piece. Let's see, I'm going to cut that line right there, or fold it sort of. And I'm going to cut, oh, look at this. We can cut right here. So I'm just going to fold this back and cut like a ½ inch away. That way I know for a fact it's the right size. So now that I have all the pieces cut for page 5, we're just going to take these over to the machine and repeat the process and hope that I don't mess up this time. Okay, here we are. Let's try this all over again. All right, so piece 1 is MZ. MZ was that color maize. So it's this big chunk right here. I don't know how I cut it. Oh, I cut it out this way. So there it is right there. So if I put it on this side, it goes that way. So I'm going to piece that in place with a pin, if I can find it, making sure that my piece is fully covered. And this time it is. So I'm going to stick this in my piece for now. And then number 2 is BR. That's what these numbers are on here. It helps you do it easier. So BR was the butter one. So I think it's this one right here. I'm just making sure, and it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick it back here. I'm going to hold it up to the light and see, making sure that I'm covering my 1/4 inch seam and that when I fold it back, it covers that whole piece, and that does. So we're just going to put that there. I'm going to take my pin out, put it fully in now, flip it upside down, and sew between 1 and 2. Here we go. No messing up. Okay. Let's make sure that it's fully covered before I do anything else. And it did. It's fully covered. It's beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and fold my paper back and cut away my 1/4 inch seam by lining my ruler up on here and cutting it away with the rotary cutter. Again, I'm in an awkward position, so if I bump the camera, I'm very sorry. All right. So I'm going to fold it back as well as roll it. Okay, so those 2 are done. Now we need BR. The BR was the butter again. I'm just going to pull my butter piece. We're going to come back here, and it goes right here. I'm just going to make sure that it's covering the area, and it is. So I'm just going to flip it back, just like that. Look again, it's crossing my line just right. I'm going to put a pin in it. Since I'm having eye problems and struggling to focus on the line, I decided to fold this and cut a 1/4 inch seam allowance to start. That's going to help me because I am going to make sure that my piece hangs over like it's supposed to and still have a 1/4 inch seam. So I'm going to lay this on here. So I'm going to go ahead and pin it in place now. Come over just a little bit. I'm going to come up a little bit. And I should cover it now. Like this. There we go. Right there. I probably shouldn't work on things like this when my head hurts. All right, let's try that again. Oh, look, that's much better. And I'm just going to leave all that back there because for some strange reason, it's shredded really bad. All right, next piece. PX, which is the pink. My funky shaped cut piece. Let's hope that this goes on correctly. Is that really how I cut it? Wow, I made a mess of that cut. So we're going to go ahead, and you know what I'm going to do just because we can. So I'm going to fold this right here on this line, which I was doing and I didn't do on this second sheet because I wasn't paying attention and I was getting frustrated already. And if you get frustrated, just stop in your tracks, take a break, which I didn't do, but I should. I'm going to go ahead and pre-cut this next piece to size. Okay, I just fixed the cut real quick. I had to straighten the darn thing out because it was driving me crazy. So now that that's straightened out, I'm just going to pin it in place. It fits where it needs to. And now I'm going to sew on the line between 3 and 4. There we go. So now I'm going to go ahead and fold on number 5, just like this. And I'm going to pre-cut that away, the excess, so that I have a line to work with. I think it's making it easier, especially if you're a beginner like me, trying to show all of you probably experts out there. All right, where was we? This big, huge beast right here is going to go there, and it's going to cover all right there. So we're just going to lay this on that line with this line right here. It's covering everything. I'm going to throw my pin in it. We're going to flip it over and sew between 4 and 5. And then we're going to press it back. I'm not trimming that one. Why? Because it don't need to be trimmed. I lined it up pretty good. And the last piece is going to go between 4 and 6, or 4, 5, and 6, which is going to be this guy. And I'm going to peel this away right here and right there up to my stitching. Come on. Come on. It's okay if you rip the paper just a little bit. We're just going to fold this on line 6, just like that. And this little guy right there. And this little guy right here. Line 6 has been folded. I'm going to go ahead and cut that excess away before I sew the next piece on. So I'm adding an extra step because I'm making it easier. Maybe throughout this process it'll get a little bit easier on me, but I definitely don't want to get frustrated because I already have a headache and I'm working with a headache. So once this is on here, it folds back, it covers all that it needs to cover. We're going to go ahead, throw the pin in it, and sew on that line between 4 and 6. There we have it. I'm just going to roll my seam, and there everything is covering that seam allowance all the way around. And that piece, page 5, is now done. So we have page 5 and page 6. So let's work on page 4. So I'm just going to put that out of the way, and we're going to go to page 4. All right, page 4. It is a funky shaped piece. So I'm going to go ahead and just give that a rough cut. Toss that aside. And what we're going to do, so I'm going to pre-fold these now. I just got to remember to do this in the beginning, so it probably makes it easier to cut out the pieces pre-folding them. All right. And here, GE. Okay. So there's all my pieces. We're going to start with GE because it's literally right here and it's the tiniest piece. So GE is just going to get a little tiny thing cut out of it. And I'm just going to overly cut this because we're going to fold it right here. Can you see? Oh, you can't see. So I'm folding the pattern where I put my folds, and I'm literally just folding it back, and I'm going to do my best. I'm just going to use this right now and a rotary cutter. And that is now an oversized piece. So GE is ready. We're going to move that out of the way. We're going to go to QI. So let's find QI somewhere right here. QI is the butter. Oh, no, it's lemon ice. We're literally going to open this up down here at the bottom. QI is going to be cut out. So here's the end of it. I need that. And then we're going to fold it right here. And I'm just going to use my rotary cutter for this. There we go. So my QI. Now we're going to move on to CH. CH right here. Move that out of the way. We're going to cut CH. I'm just going to fold that there and fold this here so that I know how big my piece is. Like that. Make sure that it's nice and oversized. And it is. Cut it a little bit more. All right. And last but not least, GE. So GE right here. So GE is a little smaller. I'm just gonna come right here. Can I get it from right there? No, we're gonna turn it this way. Let's turn it this way. Oh, that's the perfect position right there. So we're just gonna come up, about right there, and over right there. GE is now ready. Let's take this over, and now that they're oversized, this should not be a problem. I hope that you guys understand why I'm leaving the mistakes in this video. All right, here we go. That stays over there. Let's go right here. First things first. I really can't see my letters, but I can tell where they go. Piece 1 is going to go right there, just like this. I'm going to fold it back and go, oh yay, that's where it's going to go. I'm going to pop a pin in it. And then CH was this purple. So that is my next piece, which is going to go right there. Again, I'm struggling with seeing through the light. So I'm literally just going to lay it here, roll it over, and kind of give it a look-see. All right, that looks good right there. I did cut it a little bit bigger than the last time. So I'm going to pop my pin out, wherever it may be, and place it in. Right here. And now I'm going to sew between 1 and 2. Okay, pop the pin out, make sure that it's covering it all the way, and it is. Just gonna roll the seam. Just like that. Then I'm gonna fold the paper back, fold everything back, and cut away my 1/4" seam allowance. This is really hard to do with this camera right here. Okay, that's on there. Next, fold it over, G, E, and GE. So these are both GE. So here's my bigger one for up here. Just gonna go ahead and lay it here and go, okay, I cut a very, very large piece. It should be perfect. Yeah, I cut a very large piece for that one. All right, so I'm gonna lay this on here. Put this here. So on the line between 2 and 3. Gonna back. I'm gonna roll it instead of using my fingernail, which seems to be pulling on the fabric. And then we're gonna go trim that away. I'm just gonna fold it back, peel this off of here, and trim my 1/4" seam. All right, put that back up. And at some point, I will eventually press all these pieces that we're doing right now. All right, now the last one is to put this GE right here in this corner. So he's literally gonna cross over right here and then fold back. I'm just making sure by looking in the light, because for me, I'm having a hard time seeing where it needs to line up, and that's probably going to be a problem with a lot of people. just going to unhook this stitch right here from my paper, just very carefully, trying not to rip my paper, because I do have points we're going to have to be matching up. I just want my paper rolled back. I didn't press my piece yet with my little doohickey. All right. So now my little piece is going to get pressed back. Just like that, and the whole entire thing is covered just like that, all the way to this tippy top point right here. All right, next. Now for page 3. Aren't you guys liking that I'm doing this in at least a page number order? It does seem like it's going to take a long time though. All right, we're going to toss that over there. And we're going to grab P, which is black, C, H, G, E, and V. All right, we got to find that V, which is right here. And then we need the black. So I'm just going to open this black up right here and literally cut off at the end. That's just one layer right there. So let's put this black on here first. I'm going to start by folding my paper on my lines. I just got to remember to do this every time. This will help me. There we go. So P is literally that corner piece right here. So I'm just going to lay it right here, making sure this is one layer of fabric, so I don't need to cut 2 pieces. I'm going to fold this back and go, yay, this is the right size, hopefully. There's always one thing I've always hated about paper piecing, and that's the amount of fabric that goes to waste. All right, P is cut out. Then we have CH. Oh, let's cut V. It's right here in my hand. Just a little tiny piece for V. Just going to fold this guy back on his line. They've given us generous cuts, so this should last the whole entire project. All right, now my CH is next. It's a long, skinny piece, so it needs about there and there. And you guys like how I do this right here? I'm gonna make sure it covers this end right here. I'm gonna go right there. And the last one is GE. And that we're gonna get right here. Okay. So let's go over to the machine and stitch those. All right, here we are at the machine. P is space 1. So we're just gonna make sure that this black is covering right here. And this is gonna make it even harder for me to see. But my black is covering where it needs to be. So I'm just gonna pin that right there for a second. Oh, I need to come down with it. About right there. Okay. I can kind of see it through if I hold it up like this. As long as the whole thing is covered. And then CH is the purple right here. So we're going to make sure that CH is the size it needs to be. And it goes right here. And I'm I can't tell for the life of me where this is supposed to land. That's way, 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 way too far. You guys are gonna have to give me a second because I can't see through this black and it's gonna challenge me for a second. Right there. I'm holding it up into the light. If you have a light board, that would probably make it so much easier. I do not have one, and I'm going to be doing this whole project like this, and this is going to drive me crazy. Just going to pin it way far over there, and then put this guy. Yeah, I can't see that at all. I can't tell, so we're going to guess that his line is right there. Nope. Come down some. Let's fold it again. Crease it. Okay, that seems good. We're going to put that pin in there. So I guess it helps to kind of fold it a little bit and making sure that it covers it. We're going to sew between 1 and 2 real quick. That's that angle right there. On the line. All right, 1 and 2 sewn. Oops, let's take this clip out of here. We're going to make sure it covers it. Oh yeah, that covers it plenty. Okay. Let's get rid of that extra seam allowance by folding this back, just like this, and cutting it. And again, I told you guys I'm kind of in an awkward angle around the camera, and that's probably how it's going to be this whole entire sew along. All right, I'm just going to open the seam up and roll it. Okay, now for GE, which is this large piece right here, and it's going that direction, right? Like that. Hold it up to the light, see if I could see where my seam is even going to be. Oh, let's come down there. Right there. Okay. That's where it needs to go. Put a pin in it. Now sew between 2 and 3. All right. Let's pull that out. We're going to make sure it covers it all the way. Hold it up to the light and go, oh yes, it covers it. So I'm just going to roll it. Oops, I should cut away my seam allowance first. So I'm just going to fold this back and cut away that extra 1/4 inch seam. All right. Refold my piece back. I'm probably making this a lot harder than it really is, guys. All right, and last but not least is, how does he go? He goes like that. So we're just going to turn him this way. And I'm just going to hold him on here because he doesn't need much room for a pin or anything. So between 2 and 4, I'm just going to roll it back, and it totally covers where it needs to cover perfectly. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull that away. We're going to fold this back and trim away that seam allowance. Reason why we're getting rid of all these seam allowances, it's going to be super bulky if you don't. So, all right, there that is. So all of my piece is fully covered and ready. So that was paper number 3. So let's move on to paper number 2. All right, paper number 2. Reach over. Can you tell I'm not prepared today for anything? All right, we're going to lay this on here. I'm going to fold it on that line, just like that. So that's a big chunk of P. And then we got V here. And then G, F, and CH. Okay, so we need a big chunk. Well, let's do these little ones first. CH. Okay. CH for that little corner. GF, which is somewhere around here. We do need V. SH. SG, nope. ER, nope. MZ, nope. PX, nope. EL, nope. V, GE, and P. So the rest of these I am done with because the next one is just that. And I'll file those in the sizes that they were for now. Actually, piece 1 real quick while we're right here. Let's open this black fabric up. And we're just going to cut out. Well, let's cut this guy out first because he's an awkward angle right here. See, so here's his line. He's going to be right there, right there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have a nice big chunk of waste off of this one. But I can probably use this piece for something else, which we're going to go ahead and trim it. Just like that. I'm just going to put it in my bigger chunks for now. Let's cut out the piece 1 because the black is literally a nice big chunk. For page 1, piece 1. Literally, we're just cutting out this. And until we piece this, actually what we can do is sew around this. So we're just going to move that out of the way. All right. V. Let's pull V. Where's V? One of these. Right there. We're going to cut out V, which is a very small piece. I'm just going to lay it on here. Where is it at? Right there. I can't tell. That's not a good idea. Right there to right there. So I need to go up a little and over a little. All right. There's that. And now we need GE, which is right there, right there. And then we need CH, which is a little tiny dog. We can come right here for it. Just a little piece. We're just gonna take that whole end right there. All right, let's go to the sewing machine. So I'm probably gonna struggle with this because of the black, and I can't see through it at all. The black goes first. It's a nice big chunk. And to hold this in place, I'm going to hold this in place. I'm literally going to put a baste stitch right here. And I can pull this out later. Just a quick baste stitch right there across the top, you can see. Just a quick baste stitch. And then V is first, so that would be this one. Okay. So we're going to fold this back on our V to know where our line is, creating a crease on that lovely black. And then we're going to lay this right here and go, oh, that's the size we need, right? No. I think I cut it not that way. Which way did I cut this? Covering it this way. That's how far it needs to go, right there. 1/4 inch over that, 1/4 inch over that. Right there. Put a clip pin in it. And we're going to stitch on line between 1 and 2. I'm also going to change it, my stitch length back down. Oh, wow. Does it cover it at least? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to fold it back, trim away my 1/4 inch seam, which you cannot see me do this whole entire time, except for my head. Then we're going to take it over here, open the seam, roll it. The next piece is this one. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this back, and I'm going to pre-trim because I think it'll be easier to line it up. All right, so now I have a perfect 1/4 inch seam already waiting for me. And this piece is going to go not that way. It's going to go that way. We're going to line this up on here. We're going to pin it. Just like that. Turn it over and sew on the line between 2 and 3. Oh, look what I gone and done. My piece, can you see how this happens? Only to me and only while I'm filming. I have to clip out this end and re-sew it because my piece folded out from under me. And we don't want it folded, we want it straight. Oh, and I do have to say that I did put a fresh needle in at the very start of doing this. All right, let's make sure it covers it, and it does. Perfect. Let's fold that back and trim away our 1/4 inch seam allowance. All right, there's that. Let's fold it back and press it. Are you kidding me? I'm going to make that work because that's just a tiny, tiny, tiny little boo-boo. Okay. And plus, I think it's in the seam where it's going to get cut away. All right, I'm going to go ahead and trim this little guy away real quick. So that way I have a nice line. There we go. And we're going to put this little guy right here where it goes. So as long as it covers it, that's all that matters. I'll throw a pin in it, as I know it's going to cover that side. Looks fully covered to me. We're going to come and sew between 3 and 4. Fold it back. Go. Does it cover it all the way? Yes, it does. We're just going to trim away any seam allowance. And there we have the next piece. So there is page 2. We're going to put that aside because we're going to iron it in a minute. And then all we have here is page 1. And I am just, because I want to be able to trim this to size. So I want it to be accurate. So I'm literally going to stitch a tack stitch on that to hold it on here. I will pull all this out after the fact. Just want it nice and flat and square. And I don't even care about that side now, as long as it's on there. That side's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all these to the iron now and press them. So let's go to the iron and make them nice and flat, and we'll have done 6 blocks. Okay, so here we are at the iron. So A1 was easy, but I'm just going to give it a quick press just so that it's super duper flat on the paper. I'm not using steam. So there's that. I'm going to move that out of the way. Then we're going to go to page 2, just pressing it nice and flat. And you can see I have my little base stitch. I'll pull those out, but for now I just want it to stay to the paper really nicely. And we're keeping all these pieces as flat as possible. Okay, so that was page 2. Here we have page 3. So again, I'm just giving it a good press because we're going to trim away the excess so that that part is already done when it's time to be finished. All right, then we're on page, whatever number this was, page 4. Making sure all these little hang-offs are staying down and flat. All right, page 5. Be very careful pressing it. But I want them super flat. And last but not least, page 6. And this was the one I struggled with the most. So we're going to hope that this came out all right. I mean, it seems like it did. All right, let's go cut these. So all we're going to do now is just trim these to the size of the seam allowance. Oops. So page 6, or A5A, we're just going to line this ruler up on the outside of this gray. The outside of the gray. We're going to line this up. I'm going to trim that away. Line this up on the outside of the gray. Outside of the gray. Outside of the gray. And one more cut on this page. And if you couldn't tell, I kind of cut beyond just a little bit because I don't need it to be a super exact 1/4 inch when we go to hook them together. We're going to be hooking them together by points anyway. So here was the first one, which was A5A. That was piece 6. Now for piece 5, we're going to cut this. The edge of the gray. Again, I just want these pre-done for me when we go to put them in their pieces, because like pieces like this hook to another piece. So where they're going to be attaching to other pieces. This one I think is its whole piece right here, the whole unit. So this one's its whole unit. I'm just going to leave the papers on it. We're just going to stack it out of the way. Grab the next. Trim it out. Just like that. And now that piece is all nice and trimmed. You can see they come out really good, even if I mess up. All right, next piece. I forgot what page this was, but we're really just trimming them down. We do know that we did 6 pages today. And I think that's pretty good for me because I did get a little frustrated. My head does hurt and I'm trying to do this for all of you guys, but I am working through my own issues at the same time. So there's that piece right there. Oops, making sure it's in the screen. Again, leaving the papers on them because the papers are going to tell us what piece hooks to what in the end. Now for this guy, the A, page 2, A2. All right, so we're just going to trim that. Some of these pieces might go for something else, and I'm going to separate all the scraps from this into a bin anyway, so that way if I have to pull from them, I can, just in case. Remember, we tacked down this black temporarily, so at the top, even though it's on that line, there is a temporary tack stitch holding it in place. It's not within the seam allowance. I actually put it on the seam allowance exactly, but that's just going to keep it from rolling back too much and getting the paper torn between now and then. Same with this guy right here. We're just going to cut him to size. So we're just going to go right to size. And I could have cut him to size to start with, but I'm just doing it like this. And it's tacked down temporarily until I sew it all together, and then I'll just pluck all those stitches out. All right, so there it is, and you can see my stitching because I'm doing white thread, and it's just a temporary stitch. It's a really wide basting stitch. So piece 1, or A1, A2 is done, A3 is done, A3B. So this is A3A and this is A3B, and I bet you these go together. What do you think? Yeah? So there's A3A, A3B. Let's look. Do they go together? Oh, yeah. Most likely. Anyway, there's those. Then we have A5A and A4. So this is actually going to go next, A4. So that's A4. That's going to go there. And then A5, which is that piece, is going to go there. So they're all stacked up so far. 6 pages done. I'm going to clean up all my papers and stuff, and I'll meet you in a minute. So I may have had some issues along the way. Hey, this was my first time paper piecing in 3 years-ish. I never said I was a professional. So hopefully that helped understand. This was just video 1. If you are a beginner, like I'm considering myself, just know that by the time we get to the next 6 blocks, it's going to be easier. And then the next 6 blocks, and then it's going to be going together like butter, hopefully, maybe. I don't know. We might still have a little bit of issue, but hey, we're going to do it together. The reason for the book now, the reason why I did such a big, huge folder is so that when I am done with all my pieces, and this is not going to work right here, when I am done with all of my pieces for the week, I'm just going to put them in the folder, just like that, and keep it over there on the side of the room. And all of my fabrics are going to stay open for now. So I'm just recommending this. If you have an extra table somewhere, keep all the fabrics on it because this sew along is going to take us a while. So I'm just going to have all of my fabrics sitting in one spot and one spot only with the book. And that's it. It's just going to stay there. And then the next video when I film for you guys, I'll pull it all out and then it's going to go right back. And then I'm going to pull it all out. And, well, you get the picture. I know I'm weird, right? Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Hopefully the beginner in me didn't frustrate the beginner in you because I was a little bit there. But that's okay. Check before you do anything, and then if you do so and it's still messed up, don't cut anything away. Pick it out first and then go back and redo it again. I think having a light, I don't have one, so I have to hold it up to the light, which doesn't help because the fabric falls on itself. I think having some kind of light tray, I've seen them all over the internet, to lay your pieces on top to make sure they're covering the right position, that might be a smart idea. It might be something that we need in paper piecing. Most people use it for applique and stuff like that, but they do have a cutting mat light thingy, flat tray thing. If you're a beginner, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you know and you've been quilting a while, you might know what I'm talking about. But that might be something you may need. Don't forget your add a quarter rulers, and don't forget, breathe, because I totally forgot to tell you that. So I'm going now. I'm done. I'll see you next week. Bye.